Welcome to Modern Wisdom with Dawn Ricci. I'm Dawn Ricci, a spiritual mentor, healer, psychic, and medium. My podcast is all about empowering you with spiritual insights on health, wellness, relationships, and careers. Join me and my guests as we navigate life's twists and turns, sharing wisdom and expanding knowledge together. Hit subscribe now to stay updated and never miss an episode. Hello, everyone. I met my guest today at a conference, and the minute I saw him, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy has to be from New Jersey. And of course he was. He had a smile and a personality that just lights up a room. And for me, those are the people I flock to. When you cast your positive energy and kindness and love and humor into a room, you attract like-minded people. That attraction is Rich Keller. He is so easy to talk to, and he's easy to spot in a crowd because usually he's wearing his signature survivor buff labeled Catalyst. So why does he wear it? He is the catalyst of personal branding with one word. And today we are going to show you why this is all so important for us. Well, for one thing, we live in a world that is so noisy, so freaking noisy, we have to be able to stand out in the crowd. For over 25 years, Rich Keller has used this philosophy to shape iconic brand identities like at Nabisco, Kraft Foods, Cadbury, and Godiva. After discovering his own one word, Rich made the bold decision to leave his successful corporate career and pursue his mission, transforming 1 million lives one word at a time. Rich is a TEDx speaker. He speaks to audiences all across the country on changing how people perceive themselves. I am one of those people. He helps people like me uncover our core value and one that authentically reflects who we are, empowering us to confidently present a clear, unique identity. I have so much respect for Rich, and I know you're going to love this episode. You're going to love him. I welcome Rich Keller to the podcast. Rich, hi! I'm so excited to see you.
You're
Look
my
at
new
you.
you're my new best friend. I love you.
Oh,
Love you. You know why? Jersey's in the house.
Jersey's in the
That's
house.
it. Jersey's in the house. We were meant to be together. Yep.
I know. Oh my God, we were very like, hi, my name is Dawn. Hi, my name is Rich. I'm from Jersey. I know, I could tell. Blah, blah,
I was like, I'm gonna be friends with her after this program ends.
blah.
And I am.
Well, you know what? Well, not for nothing. Yes, I love you so much, but you have this incredible, magnetic, iconic thing that you do. You don't even realize, I mean, you realize,
Don't.
but it
I
is
don't.
so what you did. Like I shared in the intro that, I worked with you and helped me identify myself and helped me to perceive myself because I was like so many things. And, but before we even get to that, I need you to just let's back up and tell me how did this even get you to the one word personal branding philosophy?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm grateful to be here always.
Thanks.
Oh my God, that's such a long story, but I'm going to make it really short.
Go ahead.
I have done corporate branding for over 25 years, and I've worked at Kraft Foods, Nabisco, Cadbury, Godiva. I've worked on
The little one.
incredible brands. I ate a lot of food, a lot of snacks. And I developed this philosophy in corporate that every brand is born with one core value that they give away to help others win. Branding is about helping others win. That's the definition, plain and simple. So one day my son came into the kitchen. His name is Zach. And he said to me, he was applying to college, and he said, I need some help with my alumni interviews. And I said, sure, I do marketing. Let's go. And I asked him one simple question that became the opening of my TED talk that changed my life. I said, Zach, tell me about yourself. And he looked at me and he said, where do I begin? And I said, just tell me anything. And he started telling me that he's a senior in high school. He loves video games. He plays flag football. And I said, Zach, you don't know who you are? And he said to me, they don't teach us that in high school. And the light bulb went off in my head. And I said, you know what? This was all, this was about, I don't know, 10 years ago. And at that moment, I said, wait a minute. In branding, it's helping others win. In personal branding, which started eking, the into the atmosphere, personal branding is how do you help others win? That's the difference between branding and personal branding. Help others win. How do you help others win? And so I thought about it. I said, I've been working with brands, getting them to a one word on how they help others win. Why don't I try it on people? True story. And I said to Zach, I'm going to do a couple of exercises with you, which, by the way, he looked at me like I was crazy. He's like, I don't have time for this. And I said, no, no, no. I'm telling you, it's going to work. And so, make a long story short, we figured out his one word. His word is perseverer. He never gives
Wow.
up.
Wow.
And at that point, I said to him, okay, now I want you to go to your room and I want you to, with a tape recorder, I want you to make believe you're talking to the admissions committee. And I want you to come up with a personal statement that shares a story that brings your one word to life and how you're going to bring that to the school. You're going to help the college win by never giving up. And he wrote this incredible essay about a campfire competition at sleepaway camp, a devastating loss that he had. And I won't get into the story. You'll listen to my TED talk and you'll hear
Yep.
it. A devastating loss. And he didn't want to write about it. And I made him write about it because he proved that he never gave up until the end of that campfire competition. And he got in to Cornell University, his number one school since he's a baby. My wife went there. And the light bulb went off and I quit my career. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go. I had no idea how to do this because it was in my head. I didn't have what I have today. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go transform a million lives and I'm going to get people to understand who they are, not what they do. Very simple.
Yeah.
Everybody's born with one magic superpower. I call it a core value, and you give it away to help others win. And if you could do things that align with who you are, that one word, you're going to win. You're going to have a financial future that's strong. You're going to be happy. And I've proven it.
Oh my God. That's crazy. So, meantime, when I'm hearing this, like I'm thinking about when all like my kids went to college and I had one particular girlfriend who was the girl, she's the one that went to college.
Right, right,
She's the one who got into
right.
the college,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
She was doing the applications, she was doing
Yeah,
everything. She was like, really
you
crazy.
got
And
it.
she's like, I got the book. I got the book. You remember there used to be back in the day, there
Yeah,
used to be
yeah.
this like special book to get
Yeah,
into
yeah, yeah,
college,
yeah, yeah.
right? And
Totally
so,
changed.
what boy has that changed?
Woo!
So, so you now work with do you still work with other kids to
Yeah,
get them
so
into college and parents and all that?
yeah, so I work with a lot of when I work with high school kids, I work with the family and the kid. I want them all together because it's an overwhelming process getting to your one word, but the parents are involved because they help the child move along the whole application. The whole goal of I work with high school students for college, I work with college students for their first job, I work with entrepreneurs like you to connect you and your business together with your one word, which we'll talk about, and I work with business leaders inside companies because in order to navigate up the corporate ladder, you got to know your magic. You got to
Yeah.
know your one word. So
Yeah.
so I over this didn't happen overnight. I'm in year 8 and it's pounding the pavement, but now I'm starting to see the fruits of my labor because I listen to what consumers have told me, what my clients have told me. I have a workbook program that people go through. It's a diary like you went through, and it's 11 questions, and then I create magic. This is what I do.
Okay. So let me just be clear. You All right, so it was not easy. It was not easy because it really
Yeah.
made me think very long and hard and a lot of painful moments and a lot of happy moments. And really, it just really makes you dig deep. But if you what you do is after I presented it to you, you're channeling, you're actually putting those, connecting the dots and putting all those pieces together, and you're channeling that one word. So
That's right.
there's, and I told you this when we worked together, you actually create a way for people to heal,
Wow.
right? I mean, really and
Wow.
truly, there's so many ways that you healed me just from my crazy woven,
That's
crazy
right. That's
life
right.
and all. I mean, I had some, listen, we've already built $1 million business,
That's right.
and,
That's right.
and so it to step out on your own and now, being something so tangible, like me being a private investigator, to like now talking to dead people,
That's
you know,
right. And
I
and
mean,
and I want to say one thing on that note. I want to just explain to your listeners, the one word does two things. Okay? It's clarity, but it does two things. Clarity for others, clarity for yourself. The two things are it's the thread to tell your story. And I remember talking to you about your thread where you were looking at private investigating and healing as like it's a brand new thing. And I'm like, no, 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 they are connected. So the thread to tell your story, then it becomes the compass for the future. So that if what you go do doesn't align, I was an accountant after college. You don't put a catalyst into accounting. I was in the wrong show. So it's the compass and the thread. And that's what I saw your eyes opening up when we went through the analysis, because your story is so clear and your compass going forward is when we get to your word, we'll talk about it. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, and so you like, I just love the fact that you don't even realize that you're actually healing people. And so
Wow.
when you provide that word, and I went through your site after I got my word, I went through your site and I saw all the people and all the different words. And I mean, the light in everyone's eyes, the light in everyone's eyes. You have something so special. It's such an incredible gift. And I think it's just so unique. It's something
Let
so simple, yet so
yeah,
unique.
yeah, let me say one thing on that. The reason why people I've had people cry on my Zoom during the analysis, and they always say, "Oh, I'm sorry for crying," and I always say to them, "No, no, no, tell me why you're crying." And the reason they're crying is because they have confidence. They think like society does. Society teaches us that what we do is who we are. So when you don't have a job anymore, you have nothing. But I'm teaching you that no, I don't care if you never work again, ever. The confidence to know that I have a core value that I can put out in the world is monumental. And they leave, I see it over the years now. They leave my Zoom and they go, you're damn right. I do have confidence and I do have power and I can make a difference. Yeah, you make a difference because who you are drives what you do. Not what you do is who you are. And that's my story. I lost my job like 3 or 4 times over my career, and I was worthless. I had no life. Nobody wanted me anymore. My wife would say, "How was your day?" Worthless. I don't have a job until I realized that tell me about yourself. Remember the question I asked Zach? The question is asking you, tell me how you add value in the world. And you add value regardless of a job, regardless of what you do. And that's what I uncover. And I saw it in you. You were like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't need to have 75 clients yet. No, you don't. You have to go get the clients, but you get them on the clarity of who you are.
Yeah.
I'm a little
And
passionate
it was
about this.
just, yeah, yeah, I know. And it's just, you know, being in like the detective business, it was always about, everybody else on everybody else's time and everybody. And so, and then when I started working in the spiritual end of it, I kind of felt like, oh my God, people are going to think I'm crazy, I'm stupid, and so it really started like embedding into my brain
That's right. Of
about,
course.
oh my God, you're a fool, what's wrong with you? You're supposed to
Society
have
tells you
that.
that. That's right.
Yeah. And it was just, like I felt like I had such a credible career, like I was, it was so credible, and then I had just like identity crisis.
That's
I
right.
don't even know that that's
Bingo. That's exactly
yeah.
right. That's exactly right. And the example that I give, we will reveal your one word, but the example that I give to everyone on stage is I take brands that I worked on in the corporate world or brands that I studied. So I take Apple and I tell people in the beginning of my talk, I say, give me the first one word that you think of the minute you see the Apple logo. And most people say tech, they say expensive, they say phone, they say computer. And then I take them on the journey of the core value. And then at the end, I pick one person. I usually pick the person that said like expensive or tech. And I rate they stand up in the audience and I talk to them and then when I say to them, tell me what you think that Apple is selling you in one word. What is their one word? It's not tech, it's not expensive, because that's the category, technology. And then when they talk to me, they go, "Oh, wow. I mean, every single product's easy." What do you mean easy? And then when I talk to them, and then I tell them about Steve Jobs, and they go, "Oh yeah, he wore the same black turtleneck on every stage." That's because they sell simplicity. But the notch is the thing I want to say to your listeners is notice how they have 100 products. They do 100 products just like humans. We do 100 things, but everything ladders up to that one word simplicity. They are threading their story together about how Apple products make your life easy. And then the compass going forward, every single product is filtered through simplicity. Every message is filtered through simplicity, every move they make. I just want humans to do that. And now you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, I think it's just incredible. Um,
Okay, I want you to put your buff on. I want to
uh,
reveal your word. Okay,
okay.
we
All right.
decided we're going to everybody gets a buff when they work with me because I
Okay.
wear a survivor buff. And now
Okay. Uh,
put it on.
I got to make sure I'm straight.
No, no, your word's the other way. Turn
Okay.
it around.
No, no. Oh, wait. Oh, I got
Oh,
to turn.
no, no, no. I think it's because you were covering the word. Yep.
Wait.
Put
Let me
it
see.
put it on. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Wait. Wait. I gotta get it right. Wait, wait, wait. There we are.
Yeah. Shepherd. Love it. I saw you
Wait.
light up when I gave you that word
Yeah,
during
I
our
gotta look good.
analysis. There
I look
you go.
like a pirate.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I decided to give everyone a buff because I wanted to show that a million people are going to have their one word and then on my site they go learn about you because you are the quintessential
Yeah.
shepherd. And
Yeah.
you know how I know?
How?
You gave me all the ingredients in the diary. I gave you the cake. That's why it works so well because it's not like I'm sharing something that you've never heard of. You just didn't know how to contextualize all of the info into one word like Apple did with simplicity, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it definitely, like I felt, you know, I just felt really stuck. Like um, when I was getting through another program and trying to find my footing on where I wanted to go and how I wanted to bring my gifts to the world and
That's right.
I just didn't want to be peddling readings all the time. I mean,
That's
don't get
right.
me wrong, I really love that,
Sure.
but that's not helping
Who you are.
100% helping of who I am. Like
That's
that's
right.
just yeah. So um
I want to read the I am sentence that I wrote about you. Everybody who works with me, because a lot of people in the beginning used to say to me, I don't want to be known for a word only. I'm more than a word. And I'm like, no, the word is your thread to tell your story. Just like Apple, they do 100 things. So do you. It ladders up. So I want to read the I am sentence that I give to everyone plus the word. I want to
okay.
read yours because yours was so beautiful. Okay, here
Okay.
goes. I am a loyal and dependable leader who protects, heals, and empowers others, fostering a safe environment where they can thrive. Period. You gave me the ingredients. I wrote that sentence. And what's amazing now that people have heard your word, what's amazing is private investigating, spiritual healing, they're all the same in terms of being a shepherd.
It is.
You guide to solutions and you guide to healing. That's why I wanted so badly for you to do my program because what you're doing now is just an extension, just like a computer and a phone and an iP and a AirPod, music player. You're just doing something new, but it all laddered up to shepherd. Bingo.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Thank you. And I just want to say also too, Rich is doing this podcast as a favor to me. He doesn't
Oh my
need
God.
me to,
No
so
way.
so it is so important that everyone, that's why I wanted to do this, because just to get it out there, it's that simple. It can change your life. It's like flipping the switch. It can change your life that simply. So that's going to bring me right to feeling stuck, because whether you're in a high powered career, or whether,
That's right.
like, I ran $1 million business, my
That's
husband and I,
right.
and say that there's a wife at home that she left her career 10 years ago, she raised her kids, now she's ready to get back into the workforce, and she's
That's
like,
right.
holy crap, the world has gone crazy. I can't even catch up. I don't even know where to fit in. I don't even know how to like step into the role. She's lost herself.
That's right. That's right. I'm so glad that you're using that example. First of all, I just want to say, like, as much as you feel that it's helping you, like being on with you, I'm passionate about helping people figure out,
Yeah.
not figure out, uncover, because they know, uncover who they are.
Investigate. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to be clear about that, because now you understand that helping, investigating, uncovering the truth, the navigating people through detective, through spiritual healing, all you're doing is guiding, protecting, and nurturing. You've done that in both ways. It's just a different form. And what I wanted you to really understand, that your care, compassion, no matter whether you privately investigate or spiritual heal, it's the same you. You're just now doing something different, but you always are a shepherd. Do you understand? You understand that,
Yeah.
correct?
I
Okay,
get
so
it.
the best example that I love that you gave that to me, because I want to share a story. Um, I work with some stay-at-home moms who are getting back in, their kids went to college and all that.
Yeah.
And I remember this one particular person, she called me, and we started talking. She's like, I don't know how I'm going to get back into, I've done nothing. I've done nothing for 18 years or 15 years or whatever. And I said, yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself. And the first thing this person said was, well, my kids went to a private school in town, and I raise like $5 million every year for their fundraiser. And I said, oh, that's not going to matter in an interview. I'm sorry. What else? And she sort of looked at me, and I said to her, I first of all, the game has changed today. You could be gapped for 100 years on your resume. Nobody cares on your resume. Nobody cares, because what you do, whether it's work, whether it's home, whether it's fundraising, you're doing your core value. And I said, let me just be clear. The skills that it takes for you to do what you did for the years that your kids were in that private school, let's uncover that one word. Like, all of a sudden the eyes are like, oh, you mean I have value? I have confidence? And I'm like, yeah, because society tells us that what you do is who you are. No, who you are drives what you do.
Hey, if you haven't already done so, check out my website at dawnricci.com, where you can book your appointment with me. If you need expert guidance in finding your own spirituality, or maybe thinking about getting back on track with health and well-being, then let's get to it with customized mentoring programs for your personal development. You can find all the information you need at dawnricci.com. Now let's get back to the show.
So I love that you brought that up, because I don't care if you watch the grass grow. Parents don't love when I say the following. I don't care if your kid never works a day in their life after college. Because the point is, like you said before, everybody has a core value, a superpower, something that they help others win. How do you help others win? Branding is helping others win. So it's yours to lose, by you have to go out and do things that align with who you are. And I bet you a lot of women or men that feel like, how am I going to get back into the workforce, are doing something in every other aspect of their life that ladders up, like Apple did to simplicity, like you did to Shepherd, like I do to Catalyst. So,
Ugh. Ah,
so
yep.
uncover whether or not you ever speak to me. The best thing you can do, I'll give all your listeners something easy to do. Go ask 5 people, like I do in my program, and yours were amazing. Ask 5 people that know you well, what makes you unique. I don't care what level, who they are and look for the thread. And let me tell you, that thread is there. It was there for you. And part of what I do is I'm looking for the thread in all of the 11 questions that you ask. Go ask that, because I guarantee you, you will cry when you listen to what people write about you. Without a job, without an income, without a car, who cares? You are who you are. And the people that wrote about you, they wrote about your
I was very
caring.
strategic. I was
Yeah.
very strategic too, because I didn't want people that was just going to write fluff for me. And I wanted people that I knew um, from like second grade all the way
Oh,
to
yeah.
people that I just met, maybe a year or two ago, because I felt that that needed to be. I'm not the same person that I met in second grade, and I'm not the same person that, I
Right.
just wanted it well-rounded, and I wanted to see
But
what they would all had to say. So that
I
I
love
really
that.
thought that.
I
Yeah.
love that. And the reason that when you said you're not the same person, I'll challenge that you're not doing the same thing, but you are in the way
Yeah.
in the way of the following. Part of the output that we talked about is the 10 characteristics of a shepherd. And I want to just read them really quickly because you embody every characteristic: guidance, compassion, protectiveness, loyalty, wisdom, patience, resilience, trustworthiness, intuition, and service. The point is, those are 10 stories that are very different from the word shepherd, but every one of those characteristics ladders up. So you aren't necessarily the same person in that you have done many different experiences, but your second grader friend told me exactly who you are today. And that's the whole point. We get so caught up in doing different things. Well, I'm already doing something completely different. And I say, no, 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 you're spiritual healing, private investigating. It's the same idea. You're a shepherd, you're protecting, you're caring, you're thriving, and you got it. And that's what I want people to understand. Go do 100 things, but make sure they ladder up to who you are. If you told me I'm sewing now and I'm miserable and you weren't spiritual healing, I may say, you know what, a shepherd, that's why you're unhappy, or that's why it's not working, but it's working. You just got to go out there and tell your shepherd story in the world of healing instead of private investigating. But
Yeah.
bring the private investigating story to the forefront, because people go, oh, yeah, she does nurture, care, thrive. She is a shepherd. She was in private investigating. I want to work with her. Bingo.
Yeah.
You've done your homework.
Yeah. And it's funny, I'll let you in a little secret, but I am like, I'm taking the two and I'm marrying the two concepts where, because I used my intuition every single day as an investigator, I never really realized how much I did. I was always like, I thought I was an autopilot, but really I was just flying up in the
That
ethers,
you
and
were
I was
using
using
your
it.
shepherd core value
Yeah. And so I'm
today.
actually like, I've created something that's marrying the two that I'm launching, in the next in the next month or so. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yay!
Yeah. I know.
You know,
I'm so
but you know
excited.
what's really important also for your listeners to understand is one of the reasons that I figured out how to make my one word personal branding platform work, because I did it in corporate, was because I talk about my corporate brands that I study and I've worked on, and then the audience goes, got it. I don't all of a sudden talk about, oh, I brand people now in a word. And just because, I left my career and that's what I wanted to do, I had to bring over, connect what you've done in the past, thread to your future, and just talk about your core value. And that's when the snap happened, everything
Yeah.
clicked. And I saw it with you and I see it with all my clients. And nothing lights me up more when nothing lights me up more than watching somebody like you, like you're wearing that buff with such a smile. And oh, okay, I'm done.
You're so funny. Um, when someone is rooted in like, an identity, um, that consumes them, like, how, like really, I guess it's like your hardest, like, breaking that mold. But if they're rooted in identity and, how do you create something out of that? Well, how do you help them fulfill it, like an accomplishment, or understand like what's on their resume doesn't necessarily mean that they have to follow suit.
Yeah, yeah. You just said my story. That's the whole essence of my story. When I talk to people, I'll even say it to you now. It's not a trick question when I'm going to ask you, but what do you think most people say after they introduce their name when asked, "Tell me about yourself"?
I know.
What's the next most likely thing?
I'm a private investigator.
There you go. And the
Yeah.
problem is exactly what you just said. The problem is when you no longer private investigate or you no longer are a VP at a company like my story, you have no identity.
What do we say? I know.
But that's because you conform to society of tying your identity to your job. We all do it. I've done it. I did it my whole life
Yeah.
until I was 50. So I
Well, I
when I
think it's really, yeah, it's really important too. Like, we're all in our second and third act of life,
100, we should be, but make sure that
right?
second, third, fourth, and fifth act, like Apple products, tie up to your core value. Because by the way, you are so much happier now that you know this. I could just see it in
Yeah.
you. It just, that's the point. Like, you don't,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you don't get your core value, that's fine. But when you do, you're so much happy. It's my story. I quit my career. I sat in this office. I cried the day after I quit. I quit. By the way, I quit as a catalyst does. I disrupted. I had to do it. But I cried because I'm like, what am I going to do now? The point is, go back to your core value, go back to who you are. And of course, the next phase is going to be hard. You're going to have to pound the pavement. You're going to have to get people to believe in you. You're going to have to get them to see your value. But guess what? Do it again and again and again and be consistent about it. And eventually it'll click because you are a shepherd and what you're doing was always what you've been doing as a private investigator. You just changed the scenery.
Yeah.
So I always tell people when I work with them, when I tell them that question, stop answering the question by what you do. And I'll give you another example. Like it's like sort of like a famous story. Like when a CEO gets invited, I read this article once when a CEO gets invited to a Super Bowl every year and then they're no longer the CEO and they didn't get invited anymore. You didn't get invited because you were John Jones. You got invited because you were the CEO and that
Right.
seat was and then they're like, "Oh, I didn't yeah, you're not
Has
doing
nothing
that."
to do with you. You were,
Right, exactly. So figure out who you
yep.
are. Who cares that you weren't invited? They get so dejected and
Yeah.
depressed and the bottom line is what you do is not who you are. Who you are drives what you do.
Yeah. I just, I remember like when I said, I think it was like 2014 or 2015 or something. And I might even be longer than that. But anyway, so I think that that was when I just said to my husband, I can't do this anymore. This is
Yeah.
like making me crazy.
Yeah.
Like it was just getting too much. And the client base was changing and it was just the world was getting even crazier. But um when I did that, for the first couple of months, it was great. I stayed at home, I got my nails done, I watched all my shows, I sat out by the pool, I did this. And then after a while, it was like, fall came, and I was like, okay, now what? Like,
Now what? What's
okay, I'll paint
next?
you do all your house, like, paint the rooms and redecorate and all this other crap. And then after that, you get all like a little bored. Now your brain's like going into mush. So I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. And the goal is take your core value, your one word. Like for me, as an example, and I said it before, if my next job out of brand would have been accounting, the person should probably shoot me and say, it doesn't align. But my point is, to your point, in the fall, when you like, what's next? What's next that I can be a shepherd doing?
Yeah,
Done. Done. It doesn't, and then you have to tell your story the right way. You have to get
yeah,
the audience credibly to go, you know what? He is a catalyst. He
right,
did that in corporate. He broke brands down to one word. Maybe he can help me. Boom. Same thing with you. Maybe she
right,
can nurture, care, and protect me while
right.
I figure out how to heal.
And it's funny. For me, just recently this happened where, I was doing a talk and we were being critiqued because it was on another platform and we were being critiqued and then we got the feedback. And I got like, oh my God, it was great. Oh my God, I loved it. Oh my God, you were a private investigator. And I love how you weave this in and you're doing this and that. And then I had one person that said, you sounded fake.
Ah,
I was like,
bye-bye.
sounded fake. Okay. And I said, wait a second. That's your problem. That's not,
Exactly.
that's not my problem. I hit a core. I hit a chord. So what was happening was I was telling a true story. And my life was really kind of crazy. There were some crazy moments being in that industry, but
That's
those
right.
moments taught me so much of resilience and all these other things. But so
Absolutely.
I think that they just thought it was like bullshit. And
And also as a mom, you've been a shepherd. I mean, all the
yeah,
stories you shared in the book.
yeah.
And it's funny that on the way you said that, that story, I say this as a joke, but like when I've had people say to me, this one word's ridiculous. Like, what the hell do I need to want? Ridiculous. What are you doing? And I'm like, oh, do you have a TED Talk? Why don't you go listen to my TED Talk? And they go, oh, you have a TED Talk? I see it. And I'm like, yeah, listen to it and then call me. And they call me and they're like, oh, now credibility. Don't mix up credibility with identity. It's just my credibility, but I do it because it is a crazy idea. You better believe it is, but the crazy ones win.
Yeah.
And I could have given up and said nobody gets this. I don't know what nobody understands. No, you got to keep at it, but take that one word and I guarantee, I know it, you're going to win. There's no
Yeah.
doubt,
And
so
being solid and authentic with everything you do. I mean, every single person listening, you have the ability to change the world.
exactly.
Like people say to me all the time, "Oh, you have such a gift. You can do this. You speak to this one. You can speak to my mother, my father, and everything." Blah, 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 blah. Right? And I'm like, no, yeah, thank you. It's a gift. I
Right.
worked really hard in honing into those energies and trying to,
That's right.
making my antennas go high up there. But it really is something that we all can do, and we all should be doing it because that's the way our world is going. We need to be able to harness energies, higher energies. And so I just look at it as I'm just the shepherd that's bringing you along and
That's
showing
it.
you how to do that. And if I
You
have
create
to
you create you
use,
create safe environments where
right.
people can
And if
thrive.
I have to use the investigative tool, because that's a tangible thing that people get it,
Exactly.
if I have to
Yes.
use that as my credibility and opening up my investigative toolbox to show you how intuition is really that easy to tap into and manifestation and all these other things, then so be it.
And that's the point of don't mix up credibility with identity. You're not
Mhm.
a private investigator. You do that, but your credibility is you've been that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
therefore
I love it.
the audience is going, oh, she actually cares and nurtures and she created a safe environment for people that, I mean, when you private investigated, those people are in upheaval. They need the truth or whatever. She'll do it for me. Maybe she can do it for me in the spiritual space. Bingo.
Yeah. And I really do think it just, you're a healer in your own right. And
I
I'm
love
just,
that. I'm going to tell my kids that.
yeah. Okay, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Mom,
I love it.
Mom, Dad's a healer now. He needs a new
I
buff.
I love it. You know what? But I want to say one final thing. Like the high school kids that I work with for college,
Yeah.
all I'm doing, college today is about who you are. What you do is already in the pile. Quantitative scores, what you did, the leadership roles,
Yeah.
but who you are. And I always get from parents, I get two things from parents. Number one, you gave my kids so much confidence to leave beyond college with their core value, how they can help others win. But I also get, we would have never gotten to this essay without knowing the one word. And I'm like, it came out of the workbook. But the point is, it's a simple one word is simple, but it opens and makes the kid confident enough to go write that essay because they're writing from their heart. They're not writing what the college wants to hear. They're telling the college, this is what I'm going to bring to your school in a story. So
Well,
it's
everybody's
exciting.
telling them what they need to do. Everyone's got to say da, 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 da.
You
If
got it.
everyone would just listen what you need to do, what you are,
You got it.
that's your single most important thing. You are the single most important thing, not what you want to
Ex
put on the page, you put on the page, not just because of what your friends got to do and in the competition of it all, because it really sucks. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
much competition for these kids. It just
Ah, it's
I'm
funny.
so glad that I don't have to do that. I mean,
It's funny. Listen to the signals from your customer or your consumer. I had a client recently, and I'm sharing the story as sort of a joke, but it really was the truth. It's this family. I always ask the family before we start, why did you decide to work with me? Then they came to my master class, and the mother said, please don't take this the wrong way. And already I'm like, oi, she goes, please don't take this the wrong way. My daughter goes to a private school. There's 80 people, and you are the best kept secret. And I am not telling anybody about you. And she said, and I got it. I am the best kept secret. And she doesn't want, her kid needs an edge. I understand that. But the old Rich would have been like, what do you mean? The new Rich was like, no, I get it. Next year but the point was, I am unique and different, and I'm just getting out there. I'm starting. But the
right.
bottom line is, she saw the edge, and I had to say, you're right. Okay, great. Let's work together, and next year you'll help me.
But in but in in essence, it is about the word and it is about how it changes someone's perception and it is how they change about them feeling and how they move out into the world. But it's so much bigger than that, that
Yeah,
if they did want to keep you under wraps, there's no way Spirit was ever going to let you be under
that's
wraps. It is
that's right.
not in your DNA. It's not in your history. It's not in your Akashic records. It's not.
I love
So,
it.
so if the people that don't want to share you, that's not fair. But
That's fair.
in all essence, there's enough words to go around for everyone.
That's
Stop.
right. And you know what's so interesting? The thing that this whole experience of quitting my career, doing this now where I brand people in a word, what it's really taught me, and you sort of mentioned it, I used to never really believe that, oh, it's a game changer. Oh, it's going to change the world. But you know what? This does change the game for the person because they walk away with confidence. I see it all the time. And
Yeah.
you know what? That confidence will make you go win in the world. And so it does change the game. And I really wish that people, even if you don't work with me, what is that core value? Just figure it out because you have value no matter what town you live in, titles, cars, letters after your name, college. I don't care if you go to school anymore. Like I said, parents don't love to hear that. You have a core value, and it's the confidence that
Yeah.
I see, and that is a game changer. So,
Yeah.
and
Oh
if you
my God.
notice on the back of your buff, it says, all it takes is one word to score. That's my
Yeah.
tagline. All it takes is one word to stand out, conquer obstacles, reach excellence. All
Yeah.
it takes is one word
It's
to
all it
score.
takes.
That's
And
right.
it's all it took to make a realization that whatever happened in our life, no matter what happens in our lives, good, bad, different, we all don't have $1 million businesses. We all don't have houses. We all don't have cars. Whatever it is, that your life is just as important with that one word to bring you up into the next level or
You
to
got
even
it.
help you succeed into something else that you
Consistency.
want,
Be consistent. That's right. Go do
love,
things. Yeah.
kindness, that's all the things that you exude. That's what I actually said in our intro, but it's all about love, kindness, humor, and positive energy.
Oh, I
That's
love it.
all.
And here's the final thing I'll say to you, which I say all the time, and I want your listeners to hear this. The reason I also do the buff, I gave you a buff, is because, true story, I'm a cancer survivor, 31 years. My wife is a 14-year survivor. I want people to come to my funeral with their buff on because I want to be remembered, my legacy as impacting people's lives. And I also, as a joke, say I'm going to have a little black book up in heaven, and I'm going to write down who doesn't come with their buff on. I'm only kidding, but no, that is true, and I've shared that story because I'm I shouldn't be here, and neither should my wife. And I want to impact. I loved my corporate job in terms of the brands I worked on, but I want to impact people. So you're going to come. I mean, let's assume, we'll go together, but I want you to come with your buff on because I want to look down and say, I helped that person figure out who they are in one word.
Well, I'll definitely will. I hope that doesn't happen anytime soon.
That's right. That's right.
Let me
You never
see
know.
now.
You
Let me
never know.
see.
Right. Anyway, I wanted to
Listen,
share
and
that.
I knew that about you, but I didn't want to touch upon it. I didn't
Oh,
want to touch
no.
upon it because, I didn't know if that was, overstepping my bounds at
Oh,
all.
please.
But I really do feel, if you don't mind me saying, I really do
Yeah.
feel that, you being a fighter that you are and changing the way you lived and thought and moved and breathed and worked and all those things, you changed the trajectory, you changed the energy, you changed the disease in your body, and
Yeah.
you kicked it the heck out.
Especially my wife. My wife had a advanced breast cancer, and amazing how she's still here today, knock on wood. But you are exactly right. I'm so grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to give out one words. I know it sounds so ridiculous, but who you are in a word, that lights me up because I may not have been here anymore. And people that are listening, if you haven't thankfully gone through cancer or you haven't had a moment, I'm telling you, when it does happen, you're going to feel the same way I feel. It's the best thing that had happened to my wife and I because it made me realize who I want to impact, and it's people, not brands anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And you can have all the cars and the money and the houses and the this and the that. If you don't have your health, you got nothing.
health is
Now, I
wealth.
know our
Yeah,
parents used to say that,
I
but
know.
seriously, I mean, anyone who knows that they've had health challenges, it consumes your entire life. It ruins, it infects your family and everything else.
Unbelievable.
And if it's just one word that makes you feel better, do better, look better, walk better, feel confident,
That's
and
right.
anything that has to do with you rising up to a higher level, go for it.
I have
That's
people I have people sometimes call me and they go, I used my word today, and I laugh. And my wife's like, why do you laugh? I'm like, that's just
it.
it's
It cracks
awesome.
you up.
But it's awesome. But and she goes, Rich, that's because they are leading with who they are. And I know that, but like I chuckle because that's all it takes. It's so easy. If we just step back, like we make our lives complicated. We just need to make it easy and then go do things that align with who you are. And I don't care if you make money, you're just going to be happier. So
Oh my God.
I'm gonna get off my soapbox now.
Well, before we go, I have everything that's going to go in the show notes. Rich has, programs that he would love to work with you, I'm sure, and I will share all that. But I just want to thank you so much for sharing your story and sharing my
So grateful.
story with
So
me
grateful to be here.
and
I'm the
being
lucky one.
friends and, being new friends and Jersey in the house and
Forever, forever.
forever.
I do want to
And
say I do want to say one thing.
yeah.
Go watch my TED Talk.
Oh yeah, yeah. Gotta go. Oh, you
All you
have
have to
to.
do,
It's
all you
gonna
have
be
to
in the
do,
show notes. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely the
just
link is
search,
gonna be there.
yeah, just
Yep.
search Rich Keller, TEDx, and
Yep.
go watch it. Because if anything, you're just gonna walk away feeling, wow, I wonder what my one word is. And then
Yeah.
just go figure it out. So I'm the lucky
Yeah.
one. I am so glad that you invited me, and we live in the same state. So we're going to
I
see each
know.
other. Woo!
You're gonna have to come down to Jersey Shore. Say
That's
hello.
right. That's right. That's right.
Oh my God, Rich, I love you. Thank you so much for
Thank you for having
today.
me.
I
I'm grateful to be
appreciate it.
here.
Okay.
You got it.
Take care, everyone.
One
Thanks.
word.
We'll see you
Bye.
soon. We'll see you soon. Hey there. So before we head over to the next episode, I wanted to let you know about my show named Beach Bench Medium, and it's on my YouTube channel. As I passed by beach benches that line the boardwalk, I felt the nudge from Spirit to bring family members to their bench and give them a reading. If you have a bench dedicated to someone you lost, then get in touch with me at hello@dawnricci.com. I would love for you to be on the show. Thanks for listening.